Yo, yo, yo. What up? What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. I think it's just gonna be a Warframe day. Just gonna be a chill Warframe day, and probably not like probably not a super lengthy gameplay day. I've got some stuff going on this afternoon. I mean, it won't be short or anything, but probably not quite as long as we normally do on a regular day. Sometimes that happens for me on the weekend, so it is what it is. I do the best I can to go hard 7 days a week, but the weekends quite often will be a little bit shorter than the norm, and that'll be what today is. So. But we'll get the news in, and we'll get a good amount of some nice Warframe in, man. Some grinding. God, I've got these really fun K-Drive hoverboard quest things to get done. But I've got some other quests that I've got ready to push in the game too. So that's what we're gonna do, man. And hopefully we should have some fun. We'll get some friendos in there, play some Warframe together. It should be a good time. Cool. So hope you guys are doing well. It's great to see you, as always. Let's go ahead and dive in here. We're listening to some Subnautica this morning, by the way. So, if you're not aware, Subnautica is a very, very good survival, base building, resource gathering, mostly aquatic adventure type game. So, if that sounds like something up your alley, go check it out. It's got a very cool OST as well. So that's what we're jamming out to this morning. Let's go ahead and dive into the news, man. Let's see what we got going on in the news this morning before we start gaming. Interesting. Finally gave PC gaming a shot. Here's why I'm a true believer now. Let's see what this individual has to say about their transition from apparently probably mostly a console / mobile gamer or something like that into the PC realm of gaming. I've expressed a lot. It's been a topic that's come up in our community a lot here lately. And look, man, to each their own. I'm not going to knock anybody for gaming on whatever platform suits them the best. But I do think that I feel very strongly about the fact that nowadays it seems to me that there are more pros that go along with being a PC gamer than there are with being a console gamer. There are going to be pros and cons with both, but personally, I see more upside in the realm of PC gaming than I do on the side of console quite often. So it's not always, and there's going to be varying ideas on that sentiment there, and I understand that. We flesh that out quite often. We talk about that a lot. So, but it'll be interesting to see what this individual says themselves about what their experience was with transitioning over and doing some PC gaming. All right, let's see what else we got. Looks like we got some sales on some PS4 games, probably on the PlayStation Shop there, yeah. I mean, along with what we were just talking about, if anybody is interested in PC gaming, we have plenty of people here in this community that are, I'm sure, willing to help people get started. I myself am willing to help where I can. My time's fairly limited with as much streaming content creation and other stuff I have going on outside of that. But I'll do my best, and I try to let people know some of the areas in which I feel like they can test the waters a little bit. Like maybe dabbling with some Raspberry Pis or things of that nature. So that's not necessarily going to get you into, you know, big platform PC gaming or anything. But if people are not comfortable with technology or PCs in general, you just, unfamiliar with the way hardware works and integrates together and stuff like that. Raspberry Pis are a way for people to get in on the, at a really entry small entry price point and level, and put some things together, work with some software and hardware, and maybe build up some little gaming uh, devices and things like that, and get a feel for what you can do on your own. And honestly, there are so many guides out there. There's so many guides. There are a lot of us that have are just tech enthusiasts, and we've been building our own computers for, I mean, what would seem like our entire lives, basically, and so it just is very intuitive for us. It's something that comes like second nature. But there are a lot of people out there that probably have a great interest in getting into that side of things. It seems a bit daunting, and I can understand that. But really, there especially nowadays, there are so many guides. Whether you're talking about just text-based guides out there on the internet, or video-based guides, things like that are there's a plethora of resources out there for people to get their hands on, and to dive into. And I think the best thing, if anybody is really planning on wanting to get into PC gaming, and maybe building your own rig and stuff like that, take your time. There's no rush. Take your time and do your research, and just make sure you're doing things the right way. That's the main thing. Yeah, but there's plenty of people, plenty of resources, plenty of people here, and the communities that are built up around these kinds of things are always willing to help one another out. So there are plenty of resources out there. Gaming, Switch, and tech deals are go, ushering GDC. Breath of the Wild's 33% off. There's no. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised that Breath of the Wild's going to start going on sale right now. We're like 2 months away, right? 2 months away from from Tears of the Kingdom. So they're going to start promoting Zelda by putting Breath of the Wild on sale. Um, so we'll see what Hot Hardware has to say about stuff coming out of GDC. So GDC doesn't actually pop off until tomorrow, though. So, but there's probably going to be some sales that are already kicking off just in anticipation of GDC and things like that. So we'll see. This is actually comical. Metro says Nintendo should start making mature rated video games. I'll start worrying about Nintendo making mature rated video games when Nintendo gets their head out of their butts, starts giving us backwards compatibility, quits doing scummy stuff like um, making a new online platform for every single console they come out with, and then shutting down the previous one so nobody can get that content anymore, and then ripping people for using emulators to preserve gaming history. Or scamming people by making them purchase the same game multiple times because of no backwards compatibility whenever they do come out with new consoles, things of that nature. Once Nintendo gets over that, I'll start having an interest in Nintendo maybe making more mature rated games. But look, the reality is I don't ever see Nintendo pushing into mature rated genre of games themselves. We've seen mature rated games on Nintendo's platform, but not mature rated games made by Nintendo, right? So things like The Witcher 3 have been ported over. That is a very mature title. But that's a game made by CDPR. It's not a game made by Nintendo. Nintendo is Disney of gaming, right? That is something that is an image that they have developed around themselves in a very particular way, and this was something they did on purpose. This was a purposeful thing that Nintendo has done. They are, they've always done this in an attempt to appeal to the more family friendly kid, and even the kid in all of us, not just literal in the sense of age wise youth, you know what I mean, but to the kid in all of us, the family friendly audience, and things like that. They've done that on purpose, and it's done very well for them, as opposed to, and that's why Nintendo is a different in a different kind of segment when you talk about the console space. You've got kind of PlayStation and Xbox that are in this bubble together, all right? So there's a big bubble that says console. There's a big bubble that says console. And within that big bubble, there's Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. And then within the big bubble, there are two more bubbles. And in one of those bubbles are both Xbox and PlayStation. And then in another bubble by itself is Nintendo. So while they're all consoles, you've got Nintendo that is also kind of their own thing. And they've done this on purpose, and they've done it very well. They've set themselves apart as they've got this identity as, like I said, I think the best way to kind of explain it is like the Disney of video games. And it's been very good for them. Absolutely. So to think about Nintendo pivoting into making mature rated games, I don't see them doing that necessarily. I think that would potentially result in them losing that identity to an extent, and that's not something they're willing to risk, in my opinion. So the fact that there are other consoles out there that are constantly making these kinds of games, I think makes Nintendo feel like they don't need to. And it's not like they can't end up getting those games on their platforms if they want to later on, just like I said with Witcher 3. So for them, I think they're going to continue to just have a look at what they've always done and keep pushing that narrative, man, the family friendly stuff. It's worked for them. Xbox leak shows PS2 game on Game Pass. We might have hit on this yesterday. We'll take another look. Make sure it's the same thing. Yeah, we've kind of hit on this too, but just so everybody is aware, another 7 games are leaving Xbox Game Pass soon. I'll list those titles out for you. Look, man, this says, because this is coming out of the UK, British gamers want bug free video games and are happy to wait. The majority, I would say, if not all gamers, want bug free video games, and the majority of gamers are happy to wait. That's why I think, one of the things that I express quite often is we've been trying to move away in the industry, and as consumers and lovers of video games, I know from myself, and I know a lot of other people that express this in the community, it's been important that we've made developers feel like it's okay to delay a game. Please delay your game. By all means, delay your game if it needs to be delayed. Don't push that thing out and hype it up and make me feel like you stole my money because it didn't deliver on what you promised it was going to have and deliver to me as a product, right? So I think that having British in front of this isn't even necessarily needed. I know that it says that because this is coming out of an esports news UK outlet. But honestly, I think that just gamers want bug-free video games and are happy to wait. I think that's a more appropriate title there. I think that's worldwide. Nobody wants a bug-ridden video game. It feels terrible to play games like that. I don't think anybody expects a game to be totally free of bugs either. Um, but we want games to feel pretty polished and pretty bug-free. We want a quality product. If we're going to be dishing out the dough, for the product, we want quality. And whenever we don't get that, we definitely feel cheated. Spider-Man 2 tease here. Let's see that. Nintendo rumor leaks remaster of popular GameCube game. All right. Wait, what? Far Cry 5 wasn't playing at 60 frames on Series X and PS5? Excuse me. This whole time, Far Cry 5 wasn't playing at 60 frames? What? Are you kidding me? Hold on. We're going to have to take a look at this. Nice. BAFTA names Banjo Kazooie the best gaming duo. That's sick. Nice. I don't think it's worth diving into that article, but that's pretty cool. That's cool. Horizon Forbidden West developer pays tribute to Lance Riddick. Rest in peace. Iconic, a lot of iconic roles Lance Riddick played in the video gaming and movie, TV, and just entertainment industry all the way around. And again, heart and thoughts go out to the individuals in which the lives that Lance Riddick touched, and the friends and family of Lance that are grieving right now for that loss. Feels bad, man. But thank you, sir, for all the entertainment. PS Plus subscriber surprised with one of 1999's what best PS1 games. Okay. Uh-oh. Suicide Squad news. More news. Oh no, dude. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League report has more disappointing news for DC fans. We'll see what's in store for that. Activision Blizzard has ruined the games industry for generations. All right. Let's see what they have to say about this. That's interesting. I mean, oh man, Blizzard, God, just ripped my heart out, dude. Ripped my gamer heart out, Blizzard. I can't even play their games anymore. It's so gross. I'm not going to dive into this PS Pro, PS5 Pro, and Slim stuff. This is everything we've heard. This is not necessarily official stuff yet. There's going to be a lot of speculation in this, and once these become a closer release, we'll get exact details about these consoles, and we'll hit on it for sure. Yo, Dying Light 2 Stay Human is now Steam Deck verified. If you don't know what that means that this game is now optimized for play on Valve's handheld Steam Deck hardware. If a game is verified for the Steam Deck, that means that it's actually optimized for the hardware. It plays optimally, as opposed to, it doesn't mean that other games aren't playable on the Steam Deck. It just means there might be some wonkiness to them. There might be some weird things that happen with visual settings or what have you. They're not going to be perfect on that platform. But once they're verified, that's basically the same thing as them being optimized for that hardware. Okay, so cool. Dying Light 2 is now good to go, full up, dude, on the Steam Deck. High on Life DLC teased. Okay, wonder if it's all AI generated. Too soon. We talked about this yesterday. New Super Meat Boy spin-off game revealed. It's more of like a puzzle Tetris type game. We hit on it in yesterday's news segment. So if you're interested in what this new Super Meat Boy game entails, look at yesterday's news segment. We took a dive into that. It's in there. But it's not your traditional Super Meat Boy games, like platformer type games. It's like a puzzle based Tetris genre. Think like that, which it still looks cool. It looks cool. It's just not. It's not what you're thinking probably with Super Meat Boy. Yeah, Bungie and Guerrilla Games did the same thing for Lance Reddick's death. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah. New Star Citizen video focuses on modular missions. I think we actually watched this yesterday from our buddy Mithril. We've talked a lot about Star Citizen here lately. We've hit on this game a number of times throughout the history of the channel, and I mean, this game's iconic. It's iconic for what an absolutely absurd budget for development this game has, and the fact that it was. I mean, we're talking well over $500 million now for development of this game. Um, for those of you that don't know, well over $500 million for development of this game. It was supposed to be a full release in 2014. It started development in 2011, somewhere around there. Here we are, nearly a decade later after it was supposed to be full release, and it still just got modular playable sections of the game. It's still being released in what they're calling alpha states. So this game has not even hit anything after what the developers are considering anything outside of alpha. It's a weird situation. It's really, really odd. Again, from everything I've heard, I mean, I think there are people that are having fun in the game, which is good, but to call it a game, I think, is a bit of a stretch right now. The fact that it's not, it's not a fully released. There's no base, fully playable part of it yet. It's not nothing. Not everything's like tied together for a fully integrated experience at this point, and it's been such a long time and such a big budget. And I mean, it seems like one of these situations where, and again, I mean, I've followed this game for a very long time. The scope of what they're trying to do with this game is incredibly large. It's very grandiose, and the premise behind it is very intriguing. So, I mean, but what it seems like is that they can't just, uh, you know, hunker down and focus in on trying to get what this base game was always supposed to be, the base part of this game done, and make that playable, and then work on the extra stuff. They keep trying to make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger without finishing other things first, and it just keeps getting like, I mean, it almost seems like it's never going to get done, you know? And it's not like this is the only developer to do this, but I think this is the more notable, more publicly visible example of it because of how, for one, it's got Chris Roberts behind it as the lead creative mind, you know, and this is supposed to be the spiritual successor to like Wing Commander, and so there's a lot of hype behind it, and then you've got the amount of budget that hit in it too. I mean, again, we're talking over $500 million, $500 million. That's over $500 million. You know, well over 500 million at this point. They're probably over 600 million now. So it's just a weird situation. But this last update that came out had a lot of stuff broken in the game that was playable, and but we did get to watch a video yesterday, and we have heard that they're. I mean, we've got our buddy Mithril here in the community has been enjoying the game, and so I don't know. I don't know, man. It's a weird situation. Um, Ghost, what's up, buddy? How are you, man? Happy Sunday. It's hard. It's a hard thing. I think you know, for us as consumers of gaming software, this is one of those, you know, risk versus reward scenarios. I think. Nice, dude. I like that. Yeah, this is one of those risk versus reward scenarios. I mean, we've seen so often. I mean, this is a game that's been like, I think it was originally Kickstarter, and it's been community. It's a community backed game where you buy like ships and stuff. So there are a lot of games that start out like this. You know, they get backed by some kind of public, you know, backing system or site or whatever, Kickstarter, you can call it whatever. You know, there are a lot of different ones out there. And there are a lot of games that have turned out very good, and there are a lot of games that have kind of come off as that haven't even seen the light of day, that have ended up feeling very scummy to people too, you know. And so I think that's the risk that people play when they decide to invest in these developers. And I think it's a you know, quite often when you have a developer that has some good history behind them, like Chris Roberts with Wing Commander, that's one of the reasons so much hype got built up behind this, because you have somebody notable in the industry that's created some amazing stuff before, but still going to be running a risk, right? And I mean, it's hard for me to see. I can understand like a delay of a couple of years or something. If they're like, man, the scope was so big, we need more time. We need a decent amount more time to get a good playable base game out there to everybody. But that's not even what happened here. You know, we're talking we're 9 years after what they said the initial release date would be, and they're still pushing out alpha content. I don't know. It's a really weird situation. In my opinion, outside looking in, it does not feel very good. It feels really weird. It feels almost scummy, you know. But again, I haven't played the game. Mithril, our buddy Mithril here, has played it a lot, enjoys it quite a bit. Apparently, there's a lot of people that play the game and they enjoy it, and I think that's all you can really ask for is if they're giving content that is playable and people are enjoying that. I guess that's what matters, you know. Outside looking in, I think for a lot of people that haven't played the game, it looks, it appears to be a bad situation. So we'll keep track, man. But we did watch a video at the very end of the stream yesterday. If you didn't see it, the very end of the stream, not the stream, very end of the video gaming news segment for yesterday's news segment. We watched a video of the Star Citizen new Star Citizen content and everything. Thanks to Mithril. Thanks to our buddy Mithril for that, by the way. So you can take a look at yesterday's news segment at the very end of the VOD, and it'll be there. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into the dock stuff, dude. We've talked about the dock enough here lately. League of Legends tests blind pick replacement. We'll see what that is. Ooh, Here you go. Valve has filed Counter-Strike 2 trademarks. Okay. Yeah, look, man. I mean, I've already been telling people this. I don't think people realize, how quick the cyclical life cycle of consoles really goes, and we're at like 2.5 years into the current gen of consoles. I've talked about that a lot here lately. When especially because the PS Pro's been getting hyped up. The PS5 Pro, excuse me, PS5 Pro's been getting hyped up, and I've been telling people, they're talking about the PS5 Pro releasing, by the end of 2024. Well, if PS5 Pro releases by the end of 2024, um, and we're halfway through the life cycle now of what, because life cycle of a console is roughly 6 years average. It can stretch a little bit past that, but normally it's going to be about 6 years. So if we're 2.5 years now, and PS5 Pro drops at about 4 to 4.5 years, we'll say 4 years into the life cycle. That means that within the next 2 years after the PS5 Pro releases, you're going to have PS6. So at that point, I mean, is it worth spending how much money they're going to be asking for the PS5 Pro for what the next PlayStation console is going to be, for those of you that are interested in the PlayStation consoles? I think that's something that people need to take into consideration. And I mean, I'm not trying to turn people off from buying it. I'm just trying to get people to look at this, situation all encompassing, right? Because I don't think a lot of people think about that happening. PS5 Pro is going to come out. How much ever it's going to end up costing, it'll be a grip. It's gonna cost you a little bit, and then within the next 2 years, roughly the PS6 is going to be here too. So then you're going to be wanting to dish out more money for the new console as well. So, money's an obstacle for most of us. Some people it's not, and for those that don't, see money as an obstacle, they won't really care. But for many of us, it is, and so is buying the PS5 Pro 2 years before the PS6 drops going to be worth it? Just something for everybody to, I think critically about there, depending on your own personal situation. But Microsoft already developing the next Xbox. That's not surprising because Xbox and PlayStation dropped their consoles just basically the same exact time as each other, right? So if you think that Microsoft and PlayStation aren't already in the process of developing their next consoles, think again. They absolutely are, and I would say by early 2025, they're gonna have some kinds of like working prototypes that they're gonna really be trying to. Now we probably won't see very much on them at that point, but they'll have working prototypes that they're going to be really trying to ramp up development on and get finalized versions of and things like that, because by 2026, early 2027, that's new console time. So it's kind of crazy. We're already halfway through the new gen consoles. Xbox Series X and S and PS6. We're halfway done with these. It's kind of crazy to think about, and it's already becoming quite obvious as well, because a lot of developers are stopping making games for the previous gen consoles as well. So you're seeing that happen also. Um, Developers are not interested in releasing software anymore for PS4 or Xbox One. You know, they're just kind of like, no, it's not worth it anymore. And that's again part of the cyclical nature of things. But it's kind of crazy how fast it goes. You know. Yeah, dude. See, here it is. PS5 Pro, the new Sony console that could arrive. There, it's speculative. You know, there's no real information right now about what the hardware will be, what the price point will be. There's speculation that it'll drop by the end of next year. That's kind of what I'm sticking to right now. And as we get definitive information come out, like official information about the PS5 Pro, I'll dive into it. But for now, outside of that, I've seen enough of it that it's just a bunch of speculation, and it's not worth putting a whole lot of stock into at this point. So as we get it, I'll I'll push it out to you guys. Okay. Yeah, look, man. I mean, the console side of things is Dad about the PS5 says the way they got it going is ridiculous, but a clever business move. Well, you know, I mean, I talk about the console space a lot. Look, I've always played a lot of. Your dad's not wrong. Your dad's not wrong, Ghost. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your dad definitely is seeing through the veil, if you will, of the console scumminess a bit. So that we're going to talk a bit more about this today because I have an article up. There's I talk about the PC versus console thing a lot. And look, man, gaming is gaming, and to each individual person, everybody's going to have their own respective preference when it comes to that kind of thing. You know, console versus PC, or just in the console space, what console people prefer more, and I respect that, dude. You know, I'm not like a hater or anything, but I think that in just being realistic about pros and cons and things like that, I'm gonna try to push out because I've always played across consoles and I've always played across PC as well. And I think in modern gaming, I see more pros coming out of the PC realm of gaming than I do out of the console space of gaming. A big part of that is because of I see a lot of scumminess going on in the way that console makers and developers are getting over on people. We'll label it as a clever business move, but ultimately it's implement these methods that a lot of people don't think critically about and end up buying into, and we've talked about it a lot with Nintendo here recently with the you know and PlayStation's just as almost just as bad as Nintendo is with not wanting to do backwards compatibility. And PlayStation absolutely has the capability for it. It's well known. They just don't want to implement it. So there are a lot of people that have like, they have PS1, PS2, PS3 games that they want to play, but PlayStation won't put the backwards compatibility into the PS5 other than the PS4 version. Like the PS3 stuff is needed. They needed to do a little bit more work. That's the only one. That's the only one. Excuse me. For PlayStation, the PS3 backwards compatibility is the only previous console that they would still have to do a little bit of work on, invest a little bit more time and resource and money into to get that working. But the other ones are there. They just don't want to do it. And the reason they don't want to do it is because they want people to rebuy the games. They want people to rebuy those games that they already own physical copies of from way back in the day that they should just be able to push into a PS5 and play, right? They want people to rebuy those games on, as digital versions on the PS Store, or they want people to buy into the PS Plus subscription service so you're able to play the games that you already own by paying for them again. There's a lot of this stuff that the console players do that is actually really, 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 really gross, man. Instead of rewarding, the people that have been loyal customers to these businesses and these developers, these console makers for such a long time. They would rather do these kinds of things, try to make them spend money for the same thing again. You know, make them pay for it numerous times. And we've talked about how Nintendo does that very, very well. And I don't think a lot of people look at it like that, but that's exactly what's happening, you know? Um, so, yeah, yeah, I mean, this is, we've got an article up and it's, where is it? This is an article we're going to talk about today. I finally gave PC gaming a shot. Here's why I'm a true believer now. I talk about the some of the reasons in which I've really become a almost a solely PC gamer nowadays is because it just feels so scummy on most of the console platforms anymore. They want you, if you want to play online, you got to pay for it. If you want to play your old games, you're going to pay for them again to play them, you know? Um, and there's just a lot of stuff like that that goes on. Nintendo's the absolute worst. You know, their online presence, their online platforms, like, yo, new console, new online platform, new console, new online platform, shut down the old one. New console, new online platform, shut down the old one. But don't give anybody access to that old content, you know, and then, you know, rip people for trying to gain access to it in any form or fashion. And then, you know, make people buy the games over and over and over. It's really, really gross, man. It's terrible. And so that's why I can't help but look at PC anymore as the place to be for me, anyways. And I don't want to. I don't think that anybody should have to be spending money again on a game. It's different if a game's been remastered or remade or something like that, right? Yeah, sure. A remaster, a remake. Yeah. If you want that game, the enhanced version of that game, the remade version of that game, absolutely you should be paying for it because it's had to, that game has had to have been yeah, gamer. That game's had to have been developed, go through a development process again. It takes time, it takes resources, it takes money, right? But to incorporate these processes to make people buy the games again when they've done nothing to deserve for people to have to buy the games again, that's scummy, man. That's pretty scummy in my opinion. And again, look, I mean, that's why I kind of preface that. Like, I'm not gonna dog anybody for getting their gaming in where they get their gaming in, for having fun where they're having fun at, because that's what games are supposed to be about. But and for me, raising awareness about some of these things that the industry does, opening people's eyes about some of the things that are happening, I think is important. It's important to me. I just want people to have the information to make informed decisions, you know? Um, and then it's up to you. I mean, I'm not, that's my sole purpose here. Giving people the entire overview of what's going down here, you know? And then, you know, you do what you want to do. But I don't think everybody looks at you know, or even actually knows what exactly, you know, some of these companies are doing to us, right? They don't take the time to think it through really. And I mean, I am immersing myself in this kind of information and educating myself on this every single day, and it's just very, very apparent for me. So to get this information out to people so that they can make educated decisions on what's going on, and where they're investing their money, and how they could possibly be getting railroaded by some of these companies, you know, I think is important. System Shock remake will release in August. Okay, let's stick with this. Let's get in here. All right, System Shock Remake will release in August. Prime Matter and Night Dive Studios confirmed their remake of the classic game. System Shock will arrive on PC on multiple platforms this May. They've worked hard to bring this nearly 3-decade-old title back in its glory, modernized for PC players, preserving the original narrative and the original spirit of the... How many times can you put original in one sentence? I thought I was losing my mind there for a second. They've worked hard to bring this nearly 3-decade-old title back in its glory, modernized for PC players, preserving the original narrative and the original spirit of the original. Bro, good night. Somebody needs to get out, hey, they need to work on those adjectives. You know what I mean? Find some different words to use, man. That's been extremely secretive as long as we saw that last summer. The team is finally ready to publish the game. A quick glance at the summer trailer they released last year down below, as this is our latest video of the game. It's still being watched. It is going to release on May 30th for Steam, GOG, and Epic Games. What? Let's just look this up on Steam real quick. That was a weird art. It's video game news. Dude, these articles are like always translated. That's why. I think these articles are always translated from a different language. And man, they are translated very, very poorly. I didn't realize what site we were on right now. But that makes a lot more sense now. Here, let's take a look.
Interfacing with computers.
Yeah, it does show May 30th, 2023 now is the release date.
Entertainment. The very notion disgusts me.
Look upon my works, foul creatures,
and weep at its magnificence. It is a beautiful day on Citadel Station.
Humanity is
on the verge of a new era. I, Shodan, am its new
God.
Look at you, hacker. A pathetic creature of meat and bone. How can you challenge a perfect, immortal machine?
You are an insect.
You are nothing. I create. I iterate. I fuse flesh and steel into perfection. My children, hacker. Their blood is on your hands.
You will suffer for your transgressions.
These are my avenging angels, and they will have retribution.
Roomba bomb. All right. Cool. So there you go. May 30th for System Shock. Cool. Here, I'll link that from Steam just in case anybody needs it. There you go. High on Life DLC tease. High on Life is getting some DLC, it would seem. Last year, one of the biggest surprise hits was High on Life. The game was the brainchild of Justin Roiland, one of the creators of Rick and Morty, and featured a lot of that show's signature humor. Has all kinds of sci-fi weirdness, gross-out humor, just generally a random comedy. On top of that, it was easily accessible to those who had an Xbox, as the game was available on Xbox Game Pass. This led to tons of people who may have otherwise not paid for it seeking it out, and then caused it to explode all over social media platforms like Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, with many sharing some of the outrageous humor in the game. Following its immense success, seems like Squanch Games is coming back for more. A new teaser has been released, which seems to confirm that High on Life is getting new DLC called High on Knife. If one had to guess, it seems like the DLC will center around the game's knife, appropriately named Knifey. Knifey has a habit of being a total psychopath, wanting to fulfill its purpose of stabbing as many things as possible. As of right now, we have no idea what else to expect from this. No DLC release date, no gameplay, or any other existing information. However, DLCs don't tend to have long-winded marketing cycles for the most part, so we can likely expect to hear more very soon. Also mean it would release within the next few months as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I was getting ready to note this. Squanch Games, the developer behind High on Life, right, has gone through some major changes in recent months as Justin Roiland resigned from the company over various allegations ranging from sexual harassment to creating a toxic workplace. So, to be very clear, basically what has happened here is it came out that like in 2018, I think, at Squanch Games, there was a settlement having to do with sexual harassment allegations within the workplace. They didn't specifically identify Justin Roiland, but it happened within the developer, the company nonetheless, which is not a good look. So they settled that out of court. So we don't necessarily know exactly what went down there. But then very quickly after that information came out, we found out that Justin Roiland himself is currently, I think, set to stand trial next month regarding some significant felony allegations of like domestic battery stuff. And again, innocent until proven guilty. So let's not pass judgment until, we have details and things like that. But it was upon those kinds of things coming out that Justin Roiland resigned from the company. So it was specifically personal things that had come out, not just the toxic workplace and sexual harassment stuff from the workplace. It was actually Justin Roiland dealing with some personal things in his private life, having to deal with this stuff in regards to these felony charges of abuse and domestic abuse and things of that nature that ultimately resulted in Justin Roiland resigning. So there's the entire situation surrounding the developer and Justin Roiland being who was the head of that developer is not a good look. It was and is pretty bad right now. So see what happens. League of Legends tests blind pick replacement. League of Legends players who prefer the game's blind pick mode may have to find a new favorite soon now that Riot Games is testing a replacement for that mode. Announced this week, Riot is currently exploring a quick play option which puts players in the game much quicker than blind pick would, while hopefully still achieving some of the same goals the current quickie option does. This new quick play mode will be tested first in certain regions before Riot decides to roll it out as a wider release, assuming it works well enough to be the blind pick replacement. Riot covered the topic of blind pick and quick play this week in a new video featuring updates on modes, champions, and more. League game director Riot Pupilsers said in the video that blind pick is the least popular queue in League of Legends. That's not particularly surprising since you can't guarantee your role in the mode, nor can you guarantee what champion you'll get to pick. So blind pick is always a toss-up that could lead to frustration before you even leave champ select. It does have some merits, however, when it comes to expediting the process and just hopping into a quick game of League. So Riot is proposing an alternative through quick play. We want to evolve that into quick play in order to give you guys what you want about blind pick in a better way. So similar to Old Team Builder. We're going to allow you to choose your favorite champion, your favorite role, and you're guaranteed to get at least one of those in your next game. The queue is going to pop, and you're going to see which champion and role you got, and you'll go right into the gameplay. With that idea in mind, the next step is for Riot to test this mode out in a few regions in the coming months to see how it does. After that, the mode will be refined a bit, and if it all works well, League players can look forward to playing in quick play lobbies in the future. Okay. There's a bit of a video there with the developers talking about it and stuff too, so if you want it, it's right there in chat. Check this noise out. Counter-Strike 2 trademarks. Nourishing all the rumors. Are you fed up with watching leaks and rumors regarding the upcoming Counter-Strike 2 or the Source 2 upgrade of CSGO? You are not alone. Data miners are posting new leaks every day, and rumors are being created every minute. The Source 2 hype is at its peak. Now, Valve has filed for new Counter-Strike and CS2 trademarks. Popular data miner Aquarius posted on Twitter that Valve applied for some trademarks at the United States Patent and Trademark Office on 14 March, but it was not public at that moment. Right now, it is public, which confirms that Valve has applied for new trademarks. There you go. CS2. Categories of entertainment services, including the provision of online video games, are covered by Valve's trademarks. In addition, these trademarks are tied to the CSGO trademark, which is specified on the application as a related property. In summary, Valve has applied for a new trademark for something called CS2, which is associated with Counter-Strike and CSGO trademarks in terms of intellectual property. Therefore, the new game might be named CS2, which is the abbreviation of Counter-Strike 2. Moreover, it could be named Counter-Strike as well, which might be CSGO based on the Source 2 engine. Everything is rumor now, nothing is confirmed. However, Valve is currently working on something. No one can deny it. Yeah. If you need more out of that, I'll link it for you. So, potential CSGO 2. Activision Blizzard has ruined the games industry for generations. Let's see what this has to say here. I think everybody that's familiar with this community and this, our channel here knows how I feel about Blizzard. After being, such a huge lover of Blizzard growing up and being absolutely appalled by what they've turned into, that's all I'm going to say. But thought Blizzard died a long time. They did. Yeah, they did. You're absolutely right, Ghost. The real Blizzard died a long time ago. You're absolutely right. The Blizzard we have today is not this. It's fake Blizzard. All right. So, it's definitely not the same company that so many of us fell in love with, back in the day, and I rant about it a lot. I'm gonna leave it at that for right now. If you haven't heard it, you'll hear it again, I'm sure, man. I don't play Blizzard games. It doesn't matter if they're free to play. I don't play them right now. It all started for me with Diablo 3. I waited in line for that game at midnight, and I was severely disappointed with Diablo 3. And then finding out all the terrible things that were going on within the company itself, the horrible work conditions for the employees, the terrible culture, and it was just a lot of bad stuff going on there. That was terrible, and I've sort of just watched their content for me just turn into something that I'm not very fond of as well. Not that they don't still make some decent content. So people love Overwatch and things like that. They turned Diablo 3 eventually into something decent, I think. But for me, I have to wait until next year for Diablo 4. Yeah, and I mean, Diablo Immortal was like the final straw for me. Diablo Immortal, the scumminess that the mechanics, the pay to win that they incorporated into Diablo Immortal was like, man, I just can't do it anymore. So that was it for me. I just until I see something different out of Blizzard moving forward, I just can't do it anymore. So yeah. But I know a lot of people are hyped about Diablo 4, and I'll be leaning on some of our community members to let me know how they feel. I know Mamzell's diving into the beta right now, which is cool, and there are a lot of other people that are hyped about it, and not everybody looks at the industry the way I do, and they're just in my like my heart of gamer hearts, man. I just can't. I can't. There's some of these developers that have just gone a bit too far for me, and I just can't. I can't support it anymore. What's up, buddy? Bro, you're one to talk. What's up, bro? What are you doing, dude? So yeah, I mean, we'll see, but let's see what this article has to say about Activision Blizzard here. If there's one thing I can be certain gamers are sick of hearing about, it's Activision Blizzard. So I hesitated to even try writing this feature. However, I'm not here to discuss the rights and wrongs of Microsoft and Sony, and I'm quite happy to point out that they're two giant corporations whose execs would happily sell their grandmothers to put an extra dollar on their share price. So I'm not going to pretend one or the other has the moral high ground. I didn't even see it. I didn't even see it, bro. Yo, how about that whooping that the Penguins took last night, dog? Well, they get smashed out like 0-6, dude. Was that what it was? Who'd you guys play, dog? I just saw it real quick this morning. I looked at ESPN real quick. You know what's funny about it, dude? Syke is so pissed off that you guys keep losing right now. He keeps getting pissed off about you guys losing, dude. Oh, dude. What has happened, dude, this year to the Penguins, by the way? Like, what's going on? What happened, dude? Oh, dude. Um, well, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Activision Blizzard is so big, right, Ghost? Yeah. Yeah, donut, bro. Yeah. Dude, that is a blowout. That is rough, dog. It's got to be a brutal season. It's been a brutal season. Have you even been like watching their games or anything, dude? That's got to be a tough. It's got to be a tough season. What's their record right now? I don't even know. That's like last year was a rough season for me to watch the Stars. We still made the playoffs, but dude, it was close. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, this has kind of been my sentiment the whole time. Goes since last year, whenever the news broke that Microsoft was planning to buy Activision Blizzard. Look, I don't think that real Blizzard will ever be a thing again. Okay, the Blizzard that so many of us fell in love with, from games like StarCraft and Warcraft, to Diablo and D2, and then World of Warcraft, early days of World of Warcraft, stuff like that. That Blizzard, the reality is I don't think we get that Blizzard back. I don't think it's possible, man. Uh, win 7 in a row, lose 5 in a row. Oh, that's brutal, man. That's rough. Just when you think they're about to like hit that lick and then all of a sudden they tank it out again. That's rough, dude. So, I mean, my sentiment from the get-go of the news breaking on Microsoft potentially buying Activision Blizzard was I think this was like the best thing that could have happened, to be honest. For one, for those of you that aren't aware, Bobby Kotick is the CEO of Activision Blizzard. And this dude has been at the top of that company through all of the shenanigans that have been found out that have gone on in that company. And how that dude has been allowed to still work at the top of that company after all the bad stuff has come out that happened there, I have no idea. But it's got to have something to do with him, And I don't know how he's still there, but Microsoft is a company that's dealt with their own historically they've had their own issues, but I think that they've become better at managing a company on some sort of better path and management style, and I think that they could probably go in there and turn Blizzard back into something decent, So I am not unrealistic about. I don't think that Blizzard will ever turn back into the company they ever were, but I think that they could be turned into something decent again, and that's what my hope is. I just want to see them turn into something decent, not something just absolutely so scummy and just feels gross, so gross that it makes me not even want to play their games anymore. That's my hope. That's all I'm really looking for. Yeah, we dude, God, we played the Flames last night. The Flames, Dallas played the Flames last night, and the Flames are always such a task for us, dude. Especially going and playing in Calgary, and it was back and forth all game, dude. It was like, dude, we nailed two goals right off the bat, right at the start of the game, and then they came back with one, and we hit another one, and they came back with two, and no, I wouldn't, gamer. No, absolutely not. Nope. Do not buy that game for me. Nobody. Absolutely not. No. I don't want anybody spending money. I don't want. I do not want to support that company. No, not at all. No. As much as I would appreciate that notion, no, I would not play it. Nope. Mm-mm. And as generous as that would be, and as much as I would appreciate that, no, I would not. Nope. I'm strong in my stance, dude. Against Blizzard. Yeah. And again, I mean, I hope people have a good time playing that game because not everybody has the same kind of feelings that I do about. No, I think most people don't. Most people don't have the same feelings that I do about that company. But for me, it's just been too much, dude. Yeah. No, I wouldn't play it. And it hurts. It hurts, because Diablo is that game that really, really, really. I mean, dude, I remember sitting in grocery stores as a kid, like before Diablo 1 had even launched. I'd sit in grocery stores in the magazine aisle, dude, just immersing myself in these like these magazines that had anything to do with Diablo, you know.
Wick 6634 cheered Dex 100. Wick 6634 has just gifted you Diablo 4.
Bro, thanks, dude. You're right, Doug. You're right. So, I mean, I mean, you guys have seen, like, I did the the showcasing of a lot of my old gaming stuff, man. I've still got all that stuff. I think that's why it hurts me so much. That's why I'm so passionate, and that's why my stance is so strong. It's because Blizzard was my jam, dude. Blizzard was my jam, and that's why it's why I've got such a strong stance on it, is because it hurts so much, man. For a company that was such a huge, huge, huge part of who I've always been as a gamer to just turn into such a in my eyes a terrible organization as a whole. And not that there aren't great people that work at that company. That's not what I'm getting at, but what they've done and what they've what's been exposed about them and the content that they've pushed out with like the pay to win and stuff. I just can't do it, man. Dude, Wick, that's funny, bro. So, what I do want to talk about though is this Delirious. Check me out. effect all this is having on the games industry and gamers themselves. The acquisition was announced in January for $69 billion, which is such a huge amount of money. It's almost incomprehensible. Yeah, dude. There are numerous countries in the world that don't see $6 or $7 billion on a yearly basis income wise. Countries, dude. But to put it in perspective, Disney bought Star Wars for just $4 billion, and this is the largest acquisition that Microsoft at times, the largest company in the world has ever made. Nothing normal about trying to buy the games industry's biggest publisher, and Microsoft know they will be pulling off a huge coup if they do, which is why Sony is fighting against it so strongly. What worries me is that it means the pair of them are getting nothing else done in the meantime. Both their release schedules have fallen away to almost nothing since the announcement, and they're both currently terrified of doing something that undermines what they've told the monopoly investigators. Microsoft has already used the success of The Last of Us as proof that Sony doesn't need Call of Duty. Sony has used Redfall and Starfield to prove that Microsoft secretly wants everything exclusive. So we're not going to get a Fable reveal or news of another major PlayStation 5 exclusive until this whole thing is done and dusted. That could take months, maybe even years. They'll have to break rank at some point. They can't release nothing at all. But the outcome of the acquisition is now much more important to both companies than anything else. For as long as they can, they're going to continue to avoid announcing or doing anything that could change the situation against them. And it's pitiful to watch happen. It'll take years to recover from all this. On top of all the problems in the pandemic, not only that, but consider all the problems Microsoft has had managing the developers it's bought already. Now imagine the trouble they'll have making Activision and Blizzard part of Microsoft, two massive companies with multiple studios, where the only reason Microsoft could afford them is because their share price took a dive when it was discovered how badly they're run in terms of toxic workplace conditions. Microsoft has never managed to run even 343 Industries properly. How on earth are they going to manage all that on top of the other new studios they have? Going to be a nightmare of their own making, and that's not all. Whereas relations used to be quite cordial, Microsoft and Sony now hate each other's guts. Plus, Activision Blizzard hates Sony, which is going to ruin all hope of future cooperation between any of the three companies. It's also stoking up fanboy rivalries to previously unseen levels, where people interpret everything as Xbox versus PlayStation, not Microsoft and Sony saying literally anything to pull the wool over the eyes of investigators. The whole thing is a slog. It'll never end. Even if the acquisition gets greenlit this year, it'll be much longer, perhaps decades before it settles down, if it ever does. More likely, the effects will be felt for generations of future consoles and will lead to Sony making major deals with Google or Amazon or someone. And so the rhetoric and the disgusting amount of money changing hands will get more and more. And we'll all still be sat there wishing they'd just get a move on and announce some new games. It's a weird time, dude. It's a weird time. Yeah. Steam ever give away free games? Yeah, dude, they've actually got one free right now. Check it out. Yeah, they've actually, I think that Steam's been doing more free game giveaways here lately, man. Because of Epic, to be honest. So if you look, that's not what I wanted. Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, while it's like a mixed reviewed game right now, like this is something that couldn't find the free games. Well, that's the thing is like, so it's weirder for Steam's platform because they don't traditionally give just free games away all the time that normally cost, right? Yeah. So what you'll look for, like on Steam, if you go and I'll show people, but look right here, this is a game that's normally $10 and this is free right now. But I think it's only going to be free for like not much longer. Here, I'll put this in chat. There's your link to the game on Steam. This is a game that was originally like DLC for Borderlands 3, I think. But they made it standalone content now. So had one I wanted for free earlier in the week. It's not free now. Yeah, they don't last very long. And they don't have like what you'll see on Epic. Epic always showcases their free titles, right? It's like a big showcase on their platform, right? But Steam doesn't do that. Steam has like free games, right? So you go to their store and they'll have like a whole section of like free titles. I don't even know where to find it at. But what these are, it's taking you to a place where it's like all of the free to play games, not games that are normally costing money and they're just giving away for a limited amount of time. What you'll also find is there'll be certain occasions where, where's it at? 1 second. This site here, if you guys are not familiar with Fanatical, break, dude. Jeez. Their main page is being weird for me right now, but this is the link to their so Fanatical is a site where you can get like Steam keys and stuff like that too. And sometimes Halo and Lost Ark. Right. Yeah. So Fanatical is a site that will give away some free Steam keys occasionally too. They do sales on games all the time also. So bro, did I kill my... Oh, yeah, we're good. So every once in a while, you'll come across a situation where Fanatical will give away like a certain amount of Steam keys for certain games or whatever. But again, it's not the same. Like if you go to Steam and you look for free games, they're going to be showing you the free to play titles that are on their platform, not just the games that they're like giving away for a limited amount of time that normally cost money, right? So it's kind of odd. You've got to... That's why quite often when I do the news, I come across those titles and I promote them. People, it's like, yo, if you want these games, go get them, right? What was some of the more recent ones were like, dude, this one's probably not even... Oh, dude, what is the... Oh, what was the name of that puzzle? Right here, Friday the 13th Puzzle Killer. Dude, this game was free, just not too long ago, right? But it's not something they promote on their main page. It's just stuff that I find in the news. And so I'll try to like remind people to go grab these kinds of games every so. And Figment was another one. Figment was another one that was free here recently. Steam's been doing more free games, and I think a big part of it's because they've been kind of getting their hand pushed into doing this a little bit more by Epic, because Epic's been this. It's been a good thing for them. Pushing out the free games. It's brought a lot of people over to their platform. And I think a lot of people go, well, Epic does it. Why don't you do it? You know? But Steam doesn't do it as often. And they don't do it as much of a promotional kind of thing. Like you don't see it on their store page, right? Yeah. So right now, what is it? Warhammer 40K Gladius is free on Epic, so you guys should go grab that as well. But I do try to, anytime I come across the free stuff on Steam, I try to let people know. And we have the bot in our gamer deals channel of the Discord that lets people know, like it's got Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. It shows that that's free on Steam right now. It shows that Warhammer 40,000 Gladius is free on Epic. Black Desert was free here recently on Steam as well, and Figment. Yeah, so it's been showing some. It usually comes up in our feed in there on the. We got a bot in there that tells people where all the free games are and stuff. So don't forget that's in there. But I try to let people know. Yeah, Steam's just not as good about it as Epic is, and they don't promote it. It's not like blatant. They don't put it like on their main page, like, yo, free game, get your free game, like Epic does, right? Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League report has more disappointing news for DC fans. Okay. What game were you wanting, dude? And yeah, I mean, the proprietary title stuff for the different consoles, it can be molding, It can be very molding. And I used to buy PlayStation consoles because of it. I mean, PS3 was like, dude, me having a PS3, the main reason I had a PS3 was for the NHL games, you know. And there were a few other titles that came out on PlayStation. You know, the Square games a lot of the Square games were proprietary for PlayStation, and that's another reason I had, you know. But if anybody does, let me know, because I definitely won't be. I definitely will not be. Just the monetization stuff in this game alone is really gross, dude. They're gonna want you to pay $60 up front, and then they've got Battle Pass, and then they've got in-game microtransaction shop or cash shop store, and they're gonna have DLC come out afterwards too. They want you to pay for it. It's already known, and it's, dude, it already looks really, really gross, man. I don't know. It's one of those things we talk about all the time, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. But let's see what they're saying now. And look, one of the areas in which this game and some of the other games here recently have gotten a little bit of some criticism that I don't think is really warranted is the you know, when you're only playing in single player mode, it being you still have to be online, you know. And this game, Redfall, some other titles, they're getting flack, they're getting criticized for having to still require an online connection to play even in single player mode. But here's the thing. Games like this are set up to have the same single player experience as you have in multiplayer. So it's not like a Call of Duty experience where you're going through like a campaign or anything, and then you're going through and you've got a multiplayer mode as well. It's not that kind of thing, from what I understand. Excuse me. It's all kind of the same, you know, and what they're trying to prevent is the potential, you know, injection of malicious things, whether it be, you know, items that are not normally part of the game to be injected into the game, or you know, hacks or codes or whatever to be put in to the game whenever there's not a connection, to bypass any kind of security measures, and then go into online mode and them not be caught. So to have a constant connection, I think is a way for the developer to always be able to monitor what's going on and to prevent potential, you know, misuse of the game, especially when there is a multiplayer aspect to things. Because if people are getting things like that done, and it's getting missed, and people are injecting, you know, hacks or cheats or, you know, buffed items or things like that into the game, it's going to ruin the experience for a lot of other people that are trying to play the game legitly, you know, in a multiplayer aspect. So I can understand where, from that point of view, where some developers are coming from and wanting to make sure that these titles that have both a single player aspect and the multiplayer aspect, they want it just to always have an online connection. It doesn't matter what mode you're playing. So I can understand where they're coming from to an extent. Now, for any kind of game that only has single player or has a legitimate, you know, campaign that is single player, that has nothing to do with multiplayer, something like that, that they're like, oh, well, you still need multiplayer to play that, or, you know, that's a little bit weird. I don't know that I agree with that, but, you know, I think there's some differences to take a look at in that realm. According to a variety of reputable sources, this isn't happening. Oh, so it got delayed. Is it getting delayed again? So one of the sources is Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier. We get a lot of news from Jason Schreier, one of the most reliable sources in the industry. Commenting on the silence from DC about the supposed delay, Schreier delivered some more disappointing news to DC fans. When the delay was reported to by Schreier and then others, many DC fans were hopeful the delay meant there was going to be major changes to the game, particularly its games as a service, RPG, and online elements. However, this always seemed unlikely given that it would require a major delay to rework the core game right. To this end, Schreier noted this isn't happening. Yeah, Rocksteady has not announced the Suicide Squad delay, perhaps because there's no new date, said Schreier. Staff were told a few weeks ago it's coming later this year. They still don't know when. Possible it slips to 2024, but one thing seems certain, the core game isn't changing. Yeah, they already announced that. Rocksteady already said, we're not changing anything about the game. We just need to delay for more polish. Yeah. Official announcement should be coming pretty soon, but it does look like this game is going to be late this year or early next year now. Yeah. So, I don't know. But again, it doesn't, from everything we're hearing, they're not changing anything about this game. To be fair, like, as much as we've seen about the game already, and the fact that they already kind of had a release date for this that was supposed to be coming fairly quickly means this game is almost finished with development. And if you were going to go in and change core gameplay elements of this game, that's a complete breakdown and rework. That's going to take years, probably. And so they're not going to be willing to do that. They're going to stick to what they decided to do with this game in the first place. And the delay is just simply to get some polishing done and stuff. And dude, this game it seems scummy. There's a lot. I mean, the industry, a lot of consumers we're tired of this, right? We've seen this happen with many, many other games. There's a difference, right? We've talked about this often. A free-to-play game that incorporates different kinds of methods, battle pass, or a cosmetic shop or whatever they need to do to try to pull in profit because the game is free to play. That we understand that that's something that needs to be done. But for big developers to be releasing games at a full price point, a AAA release price point, $60 to $70, and then have all this other monetization stuff inside too, it feels gross. It feels disgustingly just so much greed, and I think a lot of consumers are just done with it. They're just tired. They're just like, this is not the way this is supposed to be. So I'll be watching it from afar, but if anybody ends up playing it when it releases, I mean, hey, let me know. All right, here we go. I'm guessing we're gonna get some hate from the console lovers. Where you at, gamer? I finally gave PC gaming a shot. Here's why I'm a true believer now. All right, let's check it out, guys. Here you go. As long as I've been a gamer, I've always stuck with home consoles. From the NES to the PS5, consoles were always my gaming home base. I was happy with the convenience of it. When it comes to PC gaming, though, I've always watched from afar, jealous of the buttery smooth frame rates for games that are optimized. Wick, stop. But intimidated by the parts, drivers, settings, and prices. But the time had come. I needed a new PC anyways, and I was ready to see if everything the PC Master Race folks preached really lived up to the hype. As it turns out, being told what PC gaming had to offer didn't make me a believer, but feeling it for myself did the trick. My first step into the wider world of PC gaming started with some research. I promote that so often, dude. People should just be researching anything you're planning on getting yourself into. Research is the best thing you can do for yourself. Educate yourself. Knowing my technical limits, I immediately skipped over the custom built or build-it-yourself models, looked at what pre-built gaming PCs were available. In theory, these should be just as intuitive to get going as a console. Allow me to get comfortable with the platform itself before deciding whether or not to go deeper and begin tinkering on my own. Random mode time. Get them in there. Do I get a free sub? Yeah, so here's the deal. That is absolutely fine. Not everybody is going to be comfortable diving into building your own PC. That is absolutely not going to be everybody's jam. But what you still need to educate yourself on is wherever you're potentially planning on buying a PC from, make sure they are very, very reputable with their warranty and customer service. Because if you have an issue with your PC and you need to get it worked on, you want to make sure that it's not going to be a nightmare getting that taken care of. Okay? Because I have heard nightmare stories. So do yourself a favor. Even if you're looking into it, whatever, if you're not building yourself and you're buying a PC somewhere, make sure you're educating yourself on customer service and warranty through these companies, okay? After some research, but mostly relying on recommendations, I ultimately went with, okay. So the PC they bought has a 4070 Ti, 32 gigs of RAM, nice. Player 2 Prime PC arrived and was, I feel like there's a little bit of some promotion stuff going on in here, but simple to set up as a console. All I had to do was take it out of the box, plug it in my monitors and keyboard and mouse, and was able to get started. At least that's what I was sold on. Immediately, I was hit with an issue that felt like a bad omen. I'm not sure how or why the Bluetooth range on my particular unit seemed to be comically short. I'm talking about not being able to use headphones more than a foot away from the tower levels of bad. Thankfully, I have wired options, but if I was someone who only used wireless accessories via Bluetooth, this would be a massive issue. I don't recommend anybody using wireless stuff in gaming anyways. We're not at the level where wireless has flawless, connectivity anyways. There's normally an amount of latency, and the best thing you can do for yourself is just leave everything plugged in until technology has evolved to a level where we don't deal with those issues anymore. It's getting much better, but we're not there yet. Setup problems like these were half of what kept me away from PC gaming all these years. Determined to not lose heart, though, I pressed on. If this PC could live up to the promise of high FPS counts and eye-watering graphics, I could forgive some technical issues along the way. It might have just needed a driver update for their Bluetooth on their motherboard. It could have been it. Maxing out, I wasn't confident enough to start investing heavily into games for this new PC. After all, I still wasn't completely sold yet on committing to the PC platform. Luckily, there are tons of free PC games that are more than capable of showing me what this new rig could do. Since I played thousands of games of Halo 2 and Halo 3 before converting back to PlayStation, I figured Halo Infinite would be an appropriate place to start since I knew what to expect. One download later, I was in the settings menu. First order of business was setting everything to the maximum. Graphics, shadows, texture quality, the whole 9 yards were set as high as possible. I also hit the handy FPS display option since, especially coming from a console, my eyes for frame rates above 60 isn't all that sharp. With that done, I loaded up into a match, and all it took was that one game to make me question whether I would ever go back to consoles again. Locked, and I mean locked, at 120 frames, I had never felt so in control of a first-person shooter before. My aim was snappy, the controls were responsive, and everything just felt better in a way that I had always heard about but couldn't understand until I experienced it. This is all despite my unfamiliarity with keyboard and mouse controls. Nevertheless, that one match was it. I was converted. If that was what games could feel like, how could I ever go back to the way I was playing before? It would be like going back to standard definition TVs after experiencing 4K. I know I'm in the honeymoon period right now, but I'm going all in on PC gaming. Still, Halo Infinite is a couple of years old now, and by no means pushing graphical limits. If my PC was as modern as advertised, it would obviously have no problem handling whatever that game was throwing at it. My next test would be something new or better yet, upcoming. I chose the demo for the Resident Evil 4 remake. Booting the demo up, I found myself actually excited to go into the settings menu to see what I could crank up, and I again pushed everything to the limit, even adding in ray tracing. Instead of a maximum FPS, though, this time I left it at variable. According to the counter, this resulted in frame rates above 160 frames. Once again, that blissful responsiveness swept over me, and without really noticing, I completely forgot to keep an eye on the frame counter. I'm sure I wouldn't have noticed if it dropped significantly, but this is what I would call the best case scenario. I was fully engrossed and immersed in the game. No technical hiccups or PC problems reared their head. Yeah. I know I'm in the honeymoon period right now. More technical issues are sure to arise. There's also a huge community of players with years or decades of worth of experience I can turn to. Knowing that, I'm surprised to say this, but I feel way more comfortable going all in on PC gaming than I thought I would. No, I haven't sold my PS5 just yet, but I know which platform I'll be spending more of my gaming time on in the future. Nice, man. Welcome to the dark side. uh, yeah, absolutely, gamer. Absolutely can. There are all kinds of devices that allow you to, like, I can tell you right now, it's now turned into an app, but specifically, on, I'll show you. I've got an old version of it. Look. Oh. That bad boy. I've got two of these. They don't make these anymore. Valve doesn't. But this is a Steam Link, dog. This is a Steam Link, and they literally run this on a platform through apps now. But it's just this little bitty box, and it's got USB port. You can hardwire it, or it can work through Wi-Fi. It's got an HDMI port and a power adapter for it. And all you do, you turn this bad boy on. Like I've got one of these right now on my TV in my living room, and I've been using it here lately. Basically, what it does is it connects to your PC or your Steam, right? It can actually connect to any kind of whatever you're doing on your PC. It takes whatever you're doing on your PC and it'll put it on your TV or whatever monitor wherever else in your local area network. So wherever else in your house, you have this set up and attached, right? You can be in your room, laid up in your bed. Your PC can be in another room, turned on with Steam. There you go. All it takes is this little box. So like my daughter's been playing some Hogwarts Legacy, yeah, and has been wanting to play it in the living room, chilling out, on the couch, playing Hogwarts Legacy, dude, through Steam, just on this little box. But again, nowadays it's I have a couple of these old little hardware versions lying around. It's evolved even greater nowadays. There's all kinds of technology, dude, that allows you to do this kind of thing. So just, thinking that a console is the only way to get that kind of stuff done. No, dude, no way. Technology's, evolved greatly over time. And all it takes is basically having this kind of technology to transfer your gameplay over to another monitor or whatever, and connect your controller through something like that, or even to the TV, and there you go, dude. It's easy as that. Pretty simple. So it's basically like um, gaming as a service locally, if you will. So basically, everything runs off of your your PC wherever it's at. It's still utilizing all the PC hardware and everything. All it's doing is allowing you to control the gaming through this little box, and the box actually takes the output of the visual and everything, and copies it and puts it over onto the TV that you want to play on and everything, and you control it through this box too. So there's all kinds of things like that, dude. Yeah, I know. You just said that, I mean, you brought up the question if can it be done, like console was the only thing that could do that, and it's absolutely not, So that's what I'm getting at is, and again, a good amount of it is education and knowledge and being and I mean, I said this before. We've been talking about this all day today of people being comfortable playing on what they want to play on is what's important. I say that all the time. Um, Personally, I find more and more and more about what console developers are doing to be pretty scummy process to consumers. So I've moved further and further away from it. And it's not a means for me to try to convert people, because I want people to have fun gaming no matter what they're doing it or where they're playing it on. But it's more about an educational process of trying to get people to open their eyes and see what might be happening to them in this process. That's what it's about for me. But I think this is at least a testament, and I'm glad that it's good to see people getting out of their comfort zone and trying to game on some other platforms and things like that. One of the things I will note here is, like, it doesn't matter the platform necessarily. Any game that is developed and optimized well for any platform is going to play good on that platform. But any game that is developed poorly and not optimized for the platform that it's put out on is going to feel like crap. So a big part of this doesn't necessarily always have to do with, what you're gaming on, but how good of a developer was behind the product as well, right? We talk about that a lot also. So as much, while this is talking about how, and in my opinion, yeah, games tend to feel a bit more nice on PC because the hardware is a bit, for me, in the way I build my PCs, the hardware is a bit chunkier, power intensive. It can do a bit more. I can run higher frame rates, better resolutions, things of that nature than a lot of the consoles will be able to, and so I enjoy that. But if the software is not developed and optimized correctly, then you're not going to get it. It won't matter. But this is a pretty cool article, man. It's good. It's nice to see somebody branching out, and like they said, I mean, they're not done console gaming or anything, but it's nice to see them take a dive into the PC side of things too, and have a good experience doing that. But I do know that it's daunting for people, because a big part of the PC stuff is, like, you've got to be ready for the fact that if you have any kind of technical issues or some of it's going to be on you, and that's something that a lot of people don't want to deal with, you know. I do think that Steam Link, so they don't do hardwares anymore of the Steam Link. Um,
One of life's greatest pastimes.
yeah, so Steam Link has turned into an application rather than hardware nowadays. That's what I thought. And I haven't really tried the app out because I've just always had a couple of these laying around. When they were getting ready to when they were getting ready to stop making these got real cheap. I bought these for like next to nothing, and they're great little pieces of hardware, man. I love them. But the app is something that you can just like install and on any device, and just basically um, not have to have the hardware there, as you can see. So if anybody's interested in what the Steam Link does, and you're a PC gamer and you want to, like, maybe game on a TV or a monitor somewhere else or whatever, and just you've got your PC in another room, Steam Link's probably your answer. Another thing is, like, dude, you can turn a movie on or anything. Like, it'll basically, it doesn't have to be games. You can mirror any kind of your main monitor. You can just mirror that straight to your other device, your other monitor, your TV in the other room, whatever. If you're watching, like, a sports show on your TV and you're doing work, and then you're like, oh man, I'm gonna go chill out in the living room for a little bit. Boom, turn on Steam Link, and you just mirror that without having to, like, go through the TV and find out where it's at and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You just mirror it. Boom, it's on. Whatever. Or if you're watching a movie, you don't want to have to, like, turn it off your PC. Find the app, turn it back on the app on the TV or whatever. Boom, just Steam Link it, turn it back. Mirror your. It's pretty easy. It's pretty intuitive. It's real nice. all kinds of different uses behind it. PlayStation makes critically acclaimed PS4 games just $1.50. A new PlayStation Store sale has made not one but two critically acclaimed PS4 games just $1.50. Considering both games normally cost $15, this represents a great opportunity to save some serious pocket change, or more specifically, $27. That said, both deals are only available for a limited time that runs out on March 30th. If you're reading this after March 30th, unfortunately, you have missed out on both deals, on one of which is for Spelunky. Nice, dude. The other, which is for the Swapper. Spelunky debuted back in 2008 as a source available 2D platformer, but it didn't gain traction until it was remade in 2012. The game garnered a 90 on Metacritic, making it one of the highest rated games of its year. Developed by Mossmouth, it got an equally critically acclaimed sequel in 2020 by the name Spelunky 2. This is Spelunky.
Impossible, I thought, as I peered through the brush. Buried under the earth was a forest so lush, filled with flora and fauna and pits large and small. If not for my chute, I'd have died from a fall. Dodging frogs, I descended, the jungle grew dark. I found a lit torch, but it soon lost its spark. Surrounded by darkness, resigned to my fate, my very last bomb revealed an escape. I emerged in a market filled with grumpy old men, hawking wares of all kinds in their clandestine den. One had a wrapped box and I couldn't resist. In my hurried excitement, I opened the gift. Next thing I knew, they were shooting at me. Make sure to pay first when you play Spelunky.
As for Swapper, it debuted around a similar time in 2013 via Facepalm Games. The puzzle platformer has Metacritic scores that range all the way up to 92, and it seems to have sold appreciable, but unlike Spelunky, never got any type of sequel, at least not yet. This is the Swapper. This looks wild. Cool. All right. Oh, there's a couple of cheap games there, yeah. So $1.50 for both of these on the PS Store right now. Cool. Here you go. Gaming, Switch, and tech deals are a go. Ushering in GDC 23. So that kicks off tomorrow. Breath of the Wild is 33% off as well. Appropriate that we're getting Breath of the Wild sales now that Tears of the Kingdom's like 2 months away, less than. So Game Developer Conference coming tomorrow, starting tomorrow, and it'll run through Thursday of this week. Excuse me. They've already got some deals right now, it looks like. There's Acer Predator, the MetaQuest 2, 13% off. Switch is under 300. Looks like some deals on some Switch games. Yeah. $40 for Breath of the Wild, $50 for Bayonetta 3, $40 for Mario Party Superstars. Marvel's Midnight Suns Enhanced Edition, $40. That's not a Switch version, though, I don't think. What does it say? Not necessarily Switch games are on sale below. More not necessarily Switch games. So, might be Switch also, but looks like some Marvel's Midnight Suns Enhanced Edition. 43% off, so $40. That's supposed to be a pretty good game, too, by the way. The reviews on Midnight Suns is supposed to be pretty good. It just didn't sell very well. But people have enjoyed it. Think XCOM, same. It's Fire Axis. It's the same developer, XCOM, but with like a card game kind of integration to it, and all Marvel characters and stuff. So might be worth getting into. Lego Brawls and Hot Wheels Unleashed PS4 bundle for $21. Switch Sports accessories $31. Wireless Switch controller $26. And then some other PC stuff in here. Some peripherals, and then some laptops and stuff too. So just some deals that are popping off in anticipation of GDC kicking off tomorrow. Right there in chat. Xbox leak shows PS2 game on Game Pass. A new leak is making the rounds, and the leak shows a remaster of a PS2 classic running on Xbox Game Pass. Unfortunately, the leak comes the way of 4chan, which isn't the most reputable place. However, it comes accompanied by media bolstering the credibility of the leak. More specifically, an anonymous 4chan user has posted new images on the forum showing Shin Megami 4 and Shin Megami 5 running on PC. And Shin Megami Tensei 3, or more specifically, the recent remaster of the PS2 game running on via Xbox Game Pass. Here's the Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD remaster.
Enjoy your last moments as a human.
This world is about to be swallowed by chaos. It's called the conception, the rebirth of the world.
Prove your strength to me. It is I who will create the new world.
Man is destined to die and the world to end. Yet still, you challenge the order of the universe.
The world is still being recreated. Its shape is not yet fixed.
The power of creation will be mine.
To create or destroy this world, the choice lies with you.
The world must first die for it to be born again.
Okay. As someone pointed out, there's some facets of the leak that suggest it's fake, but nothing definitive. And for what it's worth, Xbox Game Pass releases for all three of these games have been rumored. This isn't completely out of left field. That said, it should still be taken with a grain of salt. So we'll see if it comes. Another 7 games will leave Xbox Game Pass soon. We're talking about March 31st, okay? Microsoft has confirmed via the Xbox app the next 7 titles to be removed from Game Pass, with this batch expected to leave on March 31st. For now, however, we're leaving the date as a question mark in the table below. In the case of MLB The Show 22, don't forget that it's set to be replaced by MLB The Show 23. Wick, later this month. So it's not a surprise to see the older version departing the service very soon. March 31st, okay, it's looking like Memoir Blue, Chinatown Detective Agency, Cluster Truck, Double Dragon Neon, what? Kraken Academy, MLB The Show 22, and Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Again, yeah, if you're not aware, if you're interested in owning any of these titles, then you can buy them on the Microsoft shop or through Microsoft, as long as you have. I think if you're a Game Pass member, then you'll get a 20% off discount on these titles before they leave Game Pass if you're interested, okay? Marvel Spider-Man 2 developer teases exciting new feature. Insomniac has seemingly teased something pretty interesting for Spider-Man 2. We really don't know much about the sequel outside of the fact that it will feature Venom, possibly Kraven, and see Peter Parker teaming up with Miles Morales in a proper fashion this time around. However, during a recent Insomniac game stream, lead engine programmer Elon Ruskin let it slip that there is some very cool dialogue technology in the next game, which is Marvel Spider-Man 2, of course. This could just be some stuff going on under the hood that no one will really actually notice. It does seem like a notable thing to be pointed out. Are there dialogue options? Does dialogue change based on whether you're playing as Peter or Miles? Are there multiple paths to take? Who knows? The black suit factors into the story could operate as a morality of system of sorts. It's more or less how it worked in Web of Shadows, so perhaps people will treat Spider-Man differently based on whether or not he's sporting the black suit more than the classic red and blues. Black suit better, black suit better. Either way, it sounds like there will be a lot more a lot more layers in Marvel Spider-Man 2 than its predecessor. I mean, to be fair, Venom better. Nintendo rumor leaks a remaster of popular GameCube game. According to a new Nintendo rumor, a popular GameCube game from 2003 is getting a remaster. A remaster of F-Zero GX is currently in development for Switch at Next Level Games. Canadian studio most recently responsible for 2022's Mario Strikers Battle League and 2019's Luigi's Mansion 3. And this is all the rumor states. There's no word of when this remaster will be revealed or released. For those unfamiliar with this classic, F-Zero GX was developed by Amusement Vision and published by Nintendo back in 2003. A GameCube exclusive and the successor to F-Zero X, it's widely considered one of the best GameCube games and according to Wikipedia, one of the greatest games ever made. Back in 2003 when it was released, it garnered an 89 on Metacritic, making it one of the highest rated games of the year. Check it out. Crisp. Crisp visuals. I mean, it's so crazy. Like, you remember what these, like, back in the day, it was like, oh my god, look at this game. Oh my god. It's like mind-blowing, dude. Now it's like, bro, I need glasses. Okay. Like, what is this, dude? Everything's fuzzy. Like every rumor, take this one with a grain of salt. Nothing official has been released yet regarding this. But there's been a lot of requests from, gaming community, especially people that there have been a lot of people requesting an F-Zero, a new F-Zero game for a long time from Nintendo. And maybe this is them trying to appease some of that for the time being in a remake. Or a remastering one of the older F-Zero games. So we'll see what happens there. Far Cry 5, 60 FPS on Series X and PS5 now possible with free patch. Bro, this game didn't hit 60 frames initially? What? Far Cry 5 can now reach 60 frames, allowing fans to play the game in the same fidelity on Xbox Series X and PS5 as they do on PC, thanks to a new free patch for the game. What? Wow. Ubisoft confirms this boost is applicable to all game modes of Far Cry 5 solo, co-op, arcade, and all DLCs on Xbox Series X and PC. Ubisoft is holding a free weekend for Far Cry 5 from March 23rd to the 27th. on Xbox One, Series X, PS4, PS5, and PC through the Ubisoft Store, Steam Store, and Epic Games Store. Players will have access to all the main game content throughout the free weekend and can snag the full game for 85% off, on which their free trial weekend progress will get carried over. Okay. I had no idea that Far Cry 5 had been locked, I'm guessing, at 30 frames. This game's been locked at 30 frames. When did this game release, dude? Jesus. To celebrate the game's 5-year anniversary, Ubisoft released an update for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions on March 16th, allowing for 60 frames per second gameplay when played using backwards compatibility on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. I don't understand how like even over the past 5 years, how games are releasing at a 30 frame rate lock on current gen hardware. Like, that's mind blowing to me. I mean, am I understanding this wrong? Are they just saying that, like, yeah, I don't think so. I think that, like, this game has actually played at like a locked frame rate of like 30 frames on previous gen consoles. But if you're playing it on the new gen consoles, you get an upgraded version that gives you 60 frames or something like that. Jesus. Okay. Wild. All right. Well, there's that, I guess. Dude, I'm always like blown away by that notion that, these big developed games, we still got games like popping out at like a locked 30 frame rate. It's so weird. I don't, with as powerful as technology is nowadays in the gaming world, we've got games just locked in at 30 frames still. It's so weird. PlayStation Plus subscribers surprised with one of 1999's best PS1 games. Some PlayStation Plus subscribers are about to have free access to one of 1999's best PS1 games, courtesy of PS Plus Premium. If you're a PS Plus Essential or Extra member, you're unfortunately out of luck, as classic PlayStation games are limited to PS Plus Premium. In other words, if you want access to a growing and evolving library of PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games, you will need to pay for the most expensive version of PS Plus. For the month of March, premium subscribers are getting 2 PSP games on March 21st, Ape Academy 2 and Siphon Filter Dark Mirror. 1 PS1 game on March 21st, R4 Ridge Racer Type 4. When it was released back in 99, Ridge Racer Type 4 released to a Metacritic score of 88. Here you go. I love seeing these old trailers, man. They're so good. I remember, like, these types of cinematics were just, God, mind-blowing, dude. Cinematics were mind-blowing. I never played Ridge Racer stuff, but dude, I played a lot of Gran Turismo back in these days. That's awesome. Great stuff, man. Ridge Racer Type 4 was developed and published by Namco. It first debuted in Japan in 1998, but didn't come west until 99. The fourth installment in the series and the final one on PS1, it was released back in 2011 via the PSN. This gave PS3, PSP, and PS Vita owners a chance to revisit the classic. As of March 21st, PS4 and PS5 players will be treated to the same blast from the past, baby. Nice. Cool. If you guys need anything out of there, you want to watch that trailer again, here you go. Cool, man. That's the jam, dude. That's the news. That is it. All right, man. We are going to get ready to move on to some Warframe. Sunday Warframe. Yeah, we're just going to play Warframe today. Hang out, play some Warframe, do a bit of grinding, see what we can get into. Cool. You guys are amazing. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for always being here, being a part of what we do, and just being you, man. It's great stuff. So, if anybody is checking out this content, this video gaming news segment for today, March 19th, or any of our previous news segments, or any of our past gameplay, or highlights and clips from the channel, anything like that, either here on the Twitch channel or as VODs on the YouTube channel, and you're enjoying the content, then see what you can do about coming and hanging out with us when we go live at 6 a.m. CST every single day. Start off all of our streams with video gaming news, and then we dive into whatever gameplay we have planned for the rest of the day, okay? Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, all right? And we will catch everybody tomorrow for March 20th edition of Video Gaming News, all right?